Good evening, everyone. This caucus meeting of the City Council of Maple Heights, Ohio is being called to order on December 17th, 2025 at 6:35. Clerk, please call the roll.
Shanette Jones. Tatum.
Here.
Madden. Stafford Marbury. Jackson.
Here.
She's out.
Today, who was this? Stafford Shanette District 1 will have the invocation and pledge. We do have a set of minutes to approve. Turning to the legislation, we have a full vote today. Legislation ordinance number 2025-92 as amended, an ordinance approving and authorizing various transfers of funds throughout 2025 by the finance director in a total amount of $280,500 from the general fund to the police pension fund, $215 for the purpose of paying police department employee pension and obligations. We did go through all of these in our finance meeting. Does anyone have any further questions? Hearing none, this is on its third reading, so we'll be voting on it tonight.
Council President, like last time, you could group them all together instead of reading them.
Okay, 90.
For caucus purposes.
Okay, that's,
Once we get to the regular meeting, you gotta read them all.
was that 92 through
92
through one of
transfers are 92 through,
100, 101?
no, 92 through 103. No, there's
I think it's 101. I think it's 101.
yeah, which one is the agenda's missing a page.
Okay.
Yeah, what, it goes from
Is it-
96 to 104.
$98, $99.
I got 100. I got 101.
101 are transfers.
Yes, those are transfers. Okay, so our transfers, just to go back on the record, are 99 through 101, which are all 92 through 101 are all transfers
In advances.
and advances. So we're going to group those together for, attorney said, for caucus purposes, but they're all transfers. We did go through all of these with the finance director. Is there any questions on any of those? Okay, hearing none. Or do we still need time? Okay, so we'll move on to 2025-102.
That's the dormant fund.
That's the ordinance determining that Fund 736 is dormant and not needed for municipal purposes, and authorizing the closure of Fund 736 and directing the finance director to transfer the balance of monies Fund 736 to the general fund. It's on its second reading, but we want to pass this along and vote on it tonight. Any questions? Hearing none on 102. We'll acknowledge that Councilman Shanette just arrived. I can never get these pages apart. Ordinance number 2025-104. An ordinance providing for amendment of the annual appropriations for the fiscal year 2025. This is also on the second reading, but we'd like to pass this along tonight. Anyone have any questions on 104? Hearing none. Ordinance number 2025-105, an ordinance providing for the authorizing a finance director to submit to the county fiscal officer a temporary appropriations budget for the current expenditures and other expenditures of the city of Maple Heights for the first 3 months of fiscal year ending December 31, 2026. This is on the second reading, but we'd like to vote on this tonight. Anyone have any questions? Councilman Shinet?
Council President, this was the one we talked to the finance director. This is the one we're going to do for the December 29th meeting. We are still waiting on the salary for each employee. We wanted to do a comparison in regards to what the 3.5% increase would look like based off of the current salary. We received everything else that we have asked for, and we appreciate that. I think the only thing we're waiting on that is the individual salaries. And if I missed something, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we was waiting on, yes.
No, it was sent before.
We sent today.
You do or you do not have it?
I'm talking about the individual. We received the organizational chart, which I thought was excellent. Whoever prepared that did a great job. We received the department. I'm sorry. Okay, we received the department what their salary was for the departments individually, but we had talked about the individual salaries for the employees. Correct. That I haven't seen, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
You know what that would,
I thought that was.
Mayor?
I stand corrected if I didn't see that.
Council President, I did talk to Mr. Kennedy today. Because you did reach out to me directly. We did get the org charts to you. We believe that you had everything that you needed. If you don't have it, we'll make sure you get it. And you said there's a meeting on the 29th?
Yes, we had talked about it at the finance department meeting that, we wanted to make sure that we pass that, Lord willing, we can pass that appropriation this year. So that's why we scheduled that meeting for the 29th.
We'll get that to you on Friday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ordinance number 2025-106, an ordinance fixing the salary and wages schedule for non-bargaining unit city employees for 2026. This is on the second reading. I think everybody got this information too? Are we okay with?
Wait, I'm
Gord?
Did he skip 105?
No, that's the one that said that that's,
That's the one, okay. So, but 104 we're good with? Okay, 105, the temporary budget is the one we're waiting on.
That's the only one, yes, yes.
so we're going back to, excuse me, 106. Any questions on 106? This is also on the second reading, but I'd like to vote on this tonight. Any questions on 106? Councilwoman Jones?
So clarification,
Yes.
so I think, some council members want the individual salaries of employees, and I think that would go more with 106, so why is that holding up 105 or 104? To have a finance committee meeting about that?
Well, I don't think there's any question on 104 about it being passed tonight. The question was on 105.
105 doesn't really have anything to do with the individual salaries.
Chair,
Councilman Shinet.
Thanks for clarification, and, you know, I'll ask for, is the finance director, do those go together? Do they go hand in hand?
I think my recollection from the finance committee was that the questions were more relative to 106 because that was individuals getting raises in 2026. 105 is just an appropriation measure that has to be filed with the county. It's really independent of any kind of review of salaries. It's just a temporary budget for the first 3 months of next year.
So 104 and 105 was
The 104, 105 goes together, so 106 is what we're asking for information regarding each salary, that's 106, okay? I stand corrected, I'm sorry. So 106 is, are we on the same page? We don't have that yet, okay.
So we good
Then
with
105 is good. Are we on the same page? I'm not trying to speak for the council, I'm speaking as the finance chair, for the finance chair committee, so are we good?
on the 29th, then just put them together since it's unclear.
No, I'm not, okay, I want to be, I'm not unclear, Councilwoman Stafford Marbury. I just want clarity from the finance director, because what we and I sent an email, and Mayor, you know, I sent it to you. I clearly asked for, I would like the salaries for each employee. So if that's what 106 is addressing, then that's what I was talking about. But I'm speaking from what I'm interpreting, so I don't want to speak for the entire council.
Council President, if I could weigh in, and if there's still some ambiguity, we'll have the finance director speak separately. But based on what you shared with me, Finance Chair, 2025-104 is just clearing up 2025 so we can close out. 20,105 is temporary appropriation so that we can do business in 26, as you recall, pay bills, process payroll, until we can do the full budget, given the short time frame with the resignation of our original director and the cleanup that Mr. Kennedy has shared to reconcile everything. So 2025-106 would be the companion legislation to that list of all the employees and their hourly wages. And I think that's what you understand, and that's what I understand. Is that correct?
That's
We're on the same
correct, but
page. Yes.
that we would need to
Yes.
resolve that so that each employee can get that 3.5% increase. Am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay, so that is what I was speaking on, and I stand corrected. I apologize, City Council. I spoke on the wrong ordinance. So if all is clear, 104 and 105 is okay. Okay.
Okay.
106 is what we need to speak on the 29th.
So, it's- okay. Okay, so we're clear on 106 now? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm jumping to 111. Ordinance number 2025-111, an ordinance waiving. We okay? Sorry. Ordinance 2025-111, an ordinance waiving for the time period January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026, a 100% escrow requirement to correct violations resulting from point-of-sale inspection per the Charter 1494 of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Maple Heights, to offer an incentive to individuals who purchase residential properties and occupy such residential properties, and declare an emergency. This is on its first reading, but we have Jeff Ingebrett here to talk about this.
Yes, good evening. This is a continuation of the department's current program of not requiring the homeowner occupants who purchase property in the city to deposit an escrow funds which would be used for the repairs of what goes on the point of sale violation notice. It is actually a good program that the city has in place. It encourages home ownership. I could tell you that the difference between the requirement of needing a person to put money in escrow and then not having them need to do the same could be the difference between the person buying the house and then not buying the house. Giving the homeowner the chance to come up with the funds on their own without having to put the money in escrow helps them keep the dollars, because when they purchase the property, that's extra money that they have to put in escrow. So it's not part of it actually increases what it is they need to spend. And then, of course, they get it back once the repairs are done, but they still have to put it up front. So it helps the homeowner when they're purchasing the property, and it's a good program that the city actually has in place. So I would be asking for City Council to allow this program to remain in place at this point. That's all I have.
Any questions?
Chair?
Councilwoman Jones and then Councilman Shinet.
Director, so in the past, there was some, I guess, confusion on council. So when there is a point of sale exterior inspection,
Yes.
and we do waive the escrow, that does not eliminate the violation notice, and there is a time frame for the completion, and if there is a hardship, then they work out something with the building department. So you still have eyes on what needs to be completed in a timely fashion, and then have the means to go after if they don't.
I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you.
Councilman Shinet.
Yep. Thank you, Jeff. I know, well, I can speak for District 1. They've been in support of this since we started some time back. It's a great program. And, I mean, I already know the answer, but I got to ask because I know residents do ask. Investors do not benefit from this, correct?
No, absolutely not. This
All
is
right.
for homeowner occupants, which, again, it encourages home ownership. So, no, it's not for investors. LLC is not allowed.
Any other questions on 111?
Council President, this is probably our 8th year, and we get our statistics from our data from the Akron-Cleveland Association of Realtors, ACAR, and consistently for 8 years, we have sold over 300 homes. District 1 is where I reside. There's currently a house being built on Longville. We saw the arm's length market rate home sold on Dunham, Raymond. We've got about 15 homes we're in contract with, recently featured in Cranes that we'll be building. Mr. Engelbrecht and I met with some developers yesterday. Possibly we may have the right developer for Petites, but this really is an incentive. And when developers are looking to build, they're looking to see what's the best value, and this has been a game changer in the city of Maple Heights. So this would be our 9th year if this is approved, and we can continue this momentum in building these homes and attracting developers and homeowners to our community. Thank you.
Yeah, and Chair.
Councilman Shinet.
Just wanted to add to what the mayor just mentioned. I think this in combination with the abatement that some time back that we approved attracts homeowners, because not only do you not have to put money in escrow or whatnot, we can also offer for those who new projects. I think on Carroll Drive they benefited from that, where they have that abatement, correct, for so many years where they don't have to pay taxes, property taxes. So that in combination with that, I think is a great attraction to bring in homeowners to the city.
Yes, new projects or new construction, new builds qualify for a 15-year, 100% tax abatement on the structure, not including the land. So the structure itself, the land is still taxed. Major projects, major renovations, I believe if the price is above $25,000, also qualify for the abatement as well. So that's two projects that are going in the city's favor and bringing home ownership back to the city.
Councilwoman Madden.
I'm in favor of the homeowners to get some, to help them to buy a home. But my issue is with the investors and the LLCs, that they get more lenient than homeowners, and I don't think it's right, because the homeowners live here in the city, and they, they're trying to make the city better. But the LLCs, they come and go, and I can tell you a story about a home that I've been trying to get something done with an investor for 10 years, and it still has not accomplished. So we need to be more strict on the LLCs and the investors. Thank you.
I could yes. As part of the point of sale process, the LLCs are required to put money in escrow, and there are times where we get calls from LLCs. It just happened last week, where I had to talk with my my chief building official because he had a request for the escrow amount to be lowered. It was, I want to say it was $10,000 that the city was requiring to be put in escrow, and this LLC wanted it to be lowered to $3,000, and he said no, and I said no. So it stayed at the amount that it was supposed to be at. So we are requiring that the LLCs do put money in escrow. If there's an issue in regards to some type of violation on the property, then yeah, that's on the building department. That's something that we should be able to take care of. So I could talk with you, give me the address, and I'll push it through if it hasn't been pushed through up until this point yet.
Council President,
Councilwoman Stafford Marbury.
I just wanted to say, I think that the escrow program is a good program, but as I've indicated in previous years, 100%, I think that homeowners should have some skin in the game, if you will, for lack of a better word. And it doesn't have to be 100%, but I think some type of percentage which could be worked out amongst the city would be good, so that they're more responsible and making sure that they are doing the things that need to be done, and not because they didn't have to put escrow in. And sometimes things fall through the cracks. And as you and I have a case now that I need to get with you about things fall through the cracks. So I'm a firm believer in that there should be some type of percentage that the homeowner should pay.
Chair.
Councilwoman Jones.
So, Director, the median sale price in the city of Maple Heights is probably, I'm going to just guess because I don't really know the number, $150,000 maybe? And I
Yes.
think that's a lot of skin in the game for someone to come in, pay $150 if that's the median price, and still, if they have any type of violation notice, for somebody to put that much money into a property, I think that it's good for us to have the confidence that they are going to go ahead and do a repair because they already have money invested in that property.
Yes, the median price right now for your typical Cape Cod or typical bungalow in the city that's between $1,300 and $1,500 is between roughly $140,000 and $185,000. So the price of housing is still increasing in the city, which benefits the city. But yeah, to your point, the folks that are choosing to move to Maple, they're choosing to move to Maple. They're choosing to, not just purchase the property, but also, do the necessary repairs, but because we can hold them accountable by the violation notice. The point of sale is a violation notice, and it could be held against the homeowner after 6 months.
Chair,
Councilman Shinet.
and just to be clear, the escrow is for the buyer, right? Can the seller agree to fix the violation before it's sold and also benefit from that escrow?
Yes, when it comes to escrow, either the seller or the buyer can put the money forward, and we stay out of it for the most part because we just want the deal to go forward. So we don't put any strings on who puts the money in escrow. Sometimes, most of the time, it could be the buyer. Sometimes it's the seller if they just want the if they just want to move things quickly along. So yes, to your point, there are times where it can go both ways.
Right. So, but for this program, neither one will be putting anything in escrow, correct?
Correct.
And so the seller, I'm just talking about the consequences. So if the seller doesn't complete the work within 6 months, the deal can't go through, right? But the city is not involved in that part, or how did?
So yeah, point of sale is good for 6 months. If the seller does not do the work required and the property doesn't sell within that 6 months, that is a violation notice against the seller, which the city can move forward on. Because if the seller didn't move forward with the transaction, they're still the titled owner of the property.
Okay. So
You understand what I'm
it's
saying?
right. So the city, whatever the part the city plays for that home to sell, they don't have to move forward with it if they don't correct the violations. Sometimes there's times where we may get a call from somebody, or they may choose to do a point of sale where they're just checking to see what the violations are on the property, and they don't necessarily want to sell. And we have to explain to them that it is a violation notice. Once we put it together, this is something that could be held against you. So that and if they want to move forward with it, then they can, with knowing that this could land them in court, because it's a violation notice. If there are violations against the property and they don't do the work and the property doesn't transfer, then it is held against the seller, because they're still the titled owner of the property until title transfers, and then the buyer takes control, and the buyer would have that timeline to do the work. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah.
Council President.
Councilwoman Stanford Marbury?
And they have up to 6 months to do that. So I'm waiting for my house title to transfer for up to 6 months for the seller to do the work.
It depends on,
You said they have up to 6 months. So
yeah.
So that purchase is not going through until that's all completed, which could take up to 6 months.
Could be. Again, if the seller chooses to back out, or if the seller chooses to, that's a whole situation that sometimes we deal with. But yeah, the point of sale is good for 6 months. After that, the violation notice could be held against the current title owner of the property.
Right. And Council President.
But this has I'm sorry.
No. And I'll just to be clear with my question. So I was looking that the buyer would be protected, right?
Yes.
So if the seller decides I will handle the repairs, and you give them that 6 months and they don't do it, that should protect the buyer.
Absolutely.
Right? The city would have some teeth to say, hey, we don't have to, whatever part we play in to help this home transfer, we don't have to do that because they did not correct the violation, unless there's some option with the buyer can say, okay, I'll take the responsibility. So that's the part, I guess, I don't want to call it the gray area. That's the part I guess,
Yeah.
we really haven't talked about, on my end, but
Yeah.
I'm at the end of the day, I'm still fine with it, but
Yeah, in that circumstance, say for example, it's 5 months and 29 days where title doesn't transfer. If the title transfers to a homeowner occupant, they are not held to the requirement of putting money in escrow for the sale with the city's current program. It helps incentivize buyers, and it helps buyers keep money in their pocket for the repairs that need to be done. Because again, if they're purchasing a property for $150,000 and there's, say, $20,000 worth of work that needs to be done, that $20,000 isn't being put into escrow. So it's not $170,000, it's $150,000. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, yeah.
they would have to pay 20, they would have to.
So,
repairs.
Council President, if I could jump in here, I think we're forgetting the appraisal part of this. So most realtors come into the building department and pull the violation notice. So they know exactly what they're conveying to their buyer. And I have seen them work with the seller, and it becomes a negotiation of the purchase price. This is where you're going, based on those violations. At that time, depending if they're willing to come down on the price, then the buyer can assume that's where you're going with the violations. And so they're incentivized because it affects their commission to close that deal. So who's going to assume the violations? I'm not paying $150 for a home and there's $23,000 or $25,000 in violations. Almost every, and Miss Sonia knows, and I hate to put her in, the realtors come in and they pull the violation notice before they ever even present that final offer to that buyer. That's where they negotiate. The appraisal report is a part of that. So if there's valued, it's appraised at $150, but there's a violation, if it's 3-4 pages, it's in $25,000. That's where they negotiate. The only part we play is whoever is going to buy this house, if it's owner occupied, not rental, we will waive it. And then what director is saying, you've got 6 months to fix it, but you're very much aware of it. But rarely will someone assume a significant amount of violations unless the price is adjusted. So there's a whole real estate transaction that we watch, and the only part that we play is making sure they're aware of the ordinances of Maple Heights and what the violations are. This program, the reason we adopted it so long ago, is our neighbors. We did a study, and some of you were here, and Akron Cleveland Social Realtors came out and showed we were not selling the homes because we had escrow. Garfield Heights did not. At that particular time of presentation, Garfield Heights was selling double the homes because they removed the escrow part of it. So it was an incentive program not to diminish or waive the responsibility of curing them, but as a way to at least have a product a housing product, keep the housing stock up, as well as create an open, competitive, fair market, leaving the realtor, the seller, and the buyer to work out the details, and us having this product, this program, not product, program to help. And it's been significant. It's shown in the numbers. But I can tell you the realtors they're pulling those reports. So they want to know, hey, this house on Longville's 180. Just letting you know there's 20,000 violations. So now the negotiator, I'm only going to offer 150. So that's what it does. And it's just been a game changer, as we know. But I just want to clarify. And we do try to follow up. I have seen a huge number of cases going to court. Ashley Holloway, our housing administrator, prepares the court. Our administrators shared it. They've been the most prepared cases we've had going to mayor's court to get these violations corrected. So this legislation or ordinance before you tonight is to continue to be able to offer this incentive to help realtors sell homes in our city, as well as to not have the end user, the buyer, pay more than what the house is worth if it has all these violations. Full disclosure. And so we're very good in keeping those records so they're aware of what it is, so they have a place, a point to negotiate. And the appraisal portion of that helps them in that process too. But it's a process, and we're just saying, if you figure it out as you're talking, as you're well aware, buyer and seller, this is what you're looking at. Who is going to assume the violations that happened with my home when I bought it? And so we assume the violations, and we got our price reduced by $5,000 because we assume the violations. I hope that helps.
Councilwoman Jones, did you have another question? Okay. Anyone else on 111? Hearing none, we'd like to vote on this tonight. I hear no objections. Thank you. Resolution 2025-112, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Chagrin Valley Engineering for the preparations of citywide traffic signal upgrades, including removal of unwanted signals and replacement of controller signals and poles, proposed consultant agreement number 43514, City of Maple Heights. Signals number 122355, federal project number E 2400919. Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing here. 10 for the Migration and Air Quality Program Awards located in the City of Maple Heights. This is on its first reading. We have Mr. Wren here.
Great, thank you very much. So this is actually the first phase of the citywide signalization project, which is being funded by NOACA. The city had to retain a program representative, Burgess and Nyepel, working with the service director, crafted the contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation. And what this contract will do is it will allow Chagrin Valley Engineering to start on phase 1, which is essentially a traffic study on all of the signals that are located within the city. It'll identify those signals that are warranted, which means they're required and they meet the conditions of the Ohio Department of Transportation's traffic manual. And it'll identify those that do not meet the warrants that would have to be removed at a future date. So this is phase 1 of this project, which is identifying the signals that can remain and those that will need to be removed.
Any questions? Councilwoman Jones?
I'm sorry, Ed, are they actually gonna do, a traffic study, like a count and
Yes.
timing of the lights as well?
This will not be a timing. This will strictly be a traffic count. There's multiple warrants which have to do with traffic volumes and, peak volumes, the number of motorists on the main road, on the entering roads. It'll identify those that meet those warrants. There's, I think there's like 10 or 15 different conditions, and you have to meet 3 or 4 of those. I'm not 100% certain because I'm not a traffic signal engineer, but I know people that are, and they will meet the qualifications that ODOT sets forth. This does not involve any timing because all of the equipment that will be installed with the signals that are going to remain is going to be brand new. So once we identify the signals that can remain, we'll then develop plans to remove them, replace them, and put in all new state-of-the-art equipment. Thank you.
Council President,
Mayor?
can I ask City Engineer Ed Wren to talk about the full scope of this project? This is a significant project, $2.2 million
Yes,
overall.
It's actually, Mayor, it's a $4 million.
$4 million project.
3,995.
Thank you. And this is going to be covered by NOACA.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Stafford Marbury?
Is there anywhere in here, I know they're talking about replacements and looking at signals that are unwarranted. Is there anywhere in here or somewhere we can talk about places that we're having a lot of traffic issues, where a traffic light could be suggested, like maybe where there was one and then there isn't one anymore? Like I know some areas traffic lights have been removed, but we find that we have a lot of speeding and other type of traffic issues. Is there anywhere in here that some of those things can be looked at, or that's a different type of grant we need to
That
have?
would be a different study and a different project. These, under the congestion mitigation and air quality grant, it only address the signals that are there because they're trying to make them more efficient.
What was the cost again?
It's 3.995 million, and that's for the design and construction. I do want to point out that we had actually applied for a little bit over 5 million. And depending on the results of this study, the project may be phased. So we'll spend all of the $3,995,000, and if there's additional signals that can't be covered with those funds, we would then reapply and phase that. So we're gonna, this project will basically address the number of signals that can be addressed with $4 million.
Council President, I guess one more question. Can you explain the
Mayor?
clean air portion of it?
Yes, so the-
Mitigations, because
Sure,
it's
so there's
in
a
layman's terms.
program that NOACA runs, and it essentially reduces pollution because it makes the signals more efficient. So, and you've probably run into them in different areas. All of a sudden, you're driving down the road, there's nobody else there, a red light turns green. Okay, so that's what this is. It's going to be a state-of-the-art intelligent traffic system where we utilize, right now, we tend to utilize mostly loop detectors, which are in the pavement. The new systems all have radar, and they anticipate traffic that's coming, 500, 800 feet away. It also adjusts when the light will turn red. If it's a continuous stream of traffic and it senses a break in that traffic, that's when, when the last car goes by, it'll turn yellow. So it really improves the efficiency and reduces the idling, which increases, the volume of carbon that's, thrown into the atmosphere.
And Council Chair.
Hold on.
Oh.
Councilwoman Jones, and then Councilman Shinet.
Chair, probably to the mayor, who applied for this grant and how did we find out about it? And thank you very much.
I sit on the board. I sit on the NOACA board, so I kind of got a look at it and went after it.
Councilman Shinet?
So I think Councilwoman Jones asked this, and maybe I don't want to use the word wrong terminology, but it sounds like, I know you said they're not looking at the timing, but it sounds like they are looking at kind of the timing,
Again,
right?
this
If
is,
that makes sense.
Yeah, to answer your question, it's a multi-phase project. So the first step is to identify the intersections where these signals are warranted, where they can remain. Once we identify those, we identify the ones that have to be removed. Those will be removed as part of the project. The ones that can remain, that's when we start working on the timing.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean? So rather than going through and trying to time each one and then figure out we got to remove 10,
Yes.
we'll figure out which ones we need to remove, and then we'll address the ones that remain.
Council President?
Councilwoman Stafford Marbury.
Again, it's a wonderful idea, but I do have a question. It's by radar. You're saying is there any cost associated with calibrating or monitoring and making sure that the radar is calibrated correctly? Is there any ongoing cost to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's no different than what we have now. Right now,
Okay.
if a loop detector goes bad, if a controller goes bad, we have signal service go out there and maintain it. I'm not certain of the contract. It's really maintained through the service department. But yes, there's always a cost. Anytime you have anything that's mechanical, electronic, you're going to have situations, whether it's a solar flare or somebody running into it with a truck. You have to have somebody on call. So there is, and that will be our responsibility. These are, ODOT funds it, but we become responsible for it once it's installed.
And this is something that you wanted to get started with.
We'd like to get started on this right after the school break. We'll get the traffic count. So if we could pass it on emergency, that'd be great.
Okay.
Or on first read, I'm sorry. It is written to be an emergency.
If we hear no objections, we'd like to vote on this tonight. Okay. No more questions on 112. We'll move to 113. A resolution adopting the city's cybersecurity program in compliance with Section 9.64 of the Ohio Revised Code that safeguards the city's data, information technology, and information technology resources to ensure availability, confidentiality, and integrity, consent with general acceptance best practices. Attorney Consolo.
Right, so I'll address this. This is, but I got to give credit and kudos to Chief Hansen, our Executive Lieutenant Kevin over there, and our IT specialist Dante Fragapone. So basically, this is a most recent revised code section, 9.64. It became effective the end of September. So for these last 60 days, Police Department has been putting together, updating our current cybersecurity policy. But what the revised code requires us to do and have in place before January 1 is certain provisos. The most important one is our policy has to have this ransomware response requirement put into and procedure, which says no payment of ransom in response to a cybersecurity or ransomware attack shall be authorized except by resolution of ordinance of the council adopted in a public legislative session. So boiling it up, it required us to put together and make sure we have this cybersecurity policy, but the main focus of it, at least in my interpretation, is the General Assembly has said local legislative bodies like you need to weigh in if there is a ransomware attack, right? And we're held hostage, basically, and have to pay ransom. So you can't just have a mayor can't just do it, or a city manager. The legislative body has to be aware of it and vote on it. So that's the most important thing. That's why we recommend this be passed tonight on emergency, so we can show the state we have it in effect on January 1, and it has that requirement that you will be notified if we should have such a horrific event happen.
Yeah, and Chair.
Councilman Jeanette.
I think this happened before with some major companies where they had this type.
City of Cleveland.
Yeah, that's pretty serious, and it seems like you have to make a decision quickly. But at the same time, I see where the state position is. I guess it protects us, I guess, in some way, right? That we don't make a hasty decision without, the collective body. So I can understand that part of it too. But I do remember, like the city of Cleveland. I remember another company too that this happened to, and that's pretty. It puts you in a pretty sticky situation when when that happens.
So, and it also requires employee training, which would be part of our program as well. Just don't open up emails and all that. So, and we'll make sure to include council members in that as well. Okay?
Any other questions? Councilwoman Madden? Anyone else?
You can add me too.
Hearing no objections, I'd like to vote on this tonight. And lastly, resolution number 2025-114, a final resolution requesting the Director of Transportation to proceed with the Greenhurst Drive Bridge and Demolition Project, ODOT 119972, Cuyahoga Greenhurst Bridge demolition in the city of Maple Heights, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the state of Ohio for the project.
I can address it
Okay.
real quick, so that doesn't have to address it. So, I mean, this is deja vu all over again. So if you remember last September, we did pass what was called the preliminary legislation. ODOT has all these, they have very different requirements. We'll leave it at that. So all this is passing again, but in final form, allowing us to go forward with the Greenhurst Bridge demolition project. The most important thing for you to know is that still there is no cost to the city. And that's what this final resolution says. So we would like this to be passed on emergency, just duplicates what we did in September, but allows the mayor to sign it and we can get going.
Any questions on 114? Councilwoman Jones.
Do we have a date, and do we know if it's imploded or exploded?
I mean, that's why the law director did this, so we can move it along, Councilwoman. Engineer? Do we have a date?
So they will advertise it in January. The bids will be received in February. We anticipate maybe like a May construction date. It will not be exploded. It will be most likely cut into little pieces and lift it off, one piece at a time.
Any other questions? Anyone else on 114? Okay, thank you. That's all of our legislation for tonight. We do have the expenditures, if you have that sheet. And that's just two for disclosures for purchases over $10,000. That's what our agenda is tonight. We're in this caucus at, what are we? 7:25. We'll start right back in a minute, as soon as we get our papers organized back.